Guys, are you ready for the ultimate showdown this weekend at UFC 298? Join me in the action by leaving your picks for the fights in the comments below. I have teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, and right now, new customers get a no-sweat bet. You can get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your pick doesn't hit. Minimum deposit $5. Sign up using my promo code Sonnen. And DraftKings has something for existing customers as well. All customers get SGP insurance every day. Get a bonus bet back if one leg of your SGP bet loses. Minimum number of legs required and max bet vary. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, do not worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. New customers, use my promo code Sonnen and you get a no sweat bet. So click on the link below and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Who is the greatest boxer of all time? Now, I'm going to pause and lay out just for a moment and let you answer that, but I would actually like you to answer. It's not a rhetorical question. I really do want an answer. Who, before we go any further, in your opinion, is the greatest boxer of all time? Now, you've all come to the same conclusion, Muhammad Ali. Didn't you? And let's just say he's not the one you put forward. Let's say you thought, well, it was Muhammad Ali, but I actually think it's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's answer, okay, great. But Muhammad Ali was part of your equation, wasn't he? Or let's say you were like a little bit smaller guy. You came to the conclusion of Floyd Mayweather or maybe Sugar Ray Leonard, my favorite fighter of all time, but that's not what I asked. It was the best. Somewhere in that equation, even if you put Mayweather, even if you put Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Tyson Fury himself, you would have thought, I believe he has surpassed Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was part of your deduction in the little exercise we just did, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Okay, great. Tell me what it is that Muhammad Ali did that made him the greatest ever. No. I want you to tell me specifically, what championship did he win? Was it the WBA? Was it the IBF? Was it the WBO? What championship did he win? You just said he was the best ever. What was his record? How many Olympic trials did he go through? How did he do at the Olympic trial? Right? If I ask you anything and start to pin you down, you don't know a damn thing. Now, I'm not mad at you for it. I just want you to understand, Muhammad Ali is the greatest fighter ever. Because he said so. First, that's the key. That right there is the entire key. We did not come out as a community and declare him the greatest fighter of all time. We did not declare him the GOAT. We didn't even declare him the GOAT of the heavyweight division. We didn't have time. He'd already done it. He came out before anyone else, before Liston, before Foreman, before Tyson was even competing, just for example, and he said it about himself. Now, if somebody else came out and said it, let's say Liston was to come out and say it, or Frazier, rest his soul, was to come out and say it before he passed, or Foreman was to come out and say it now, it's not the same thing. He didn't say it first. It's a massive key. So, I was asked a question. My producer Ryan said to me a moment ago, does the winner of Paulo Costa and Robert Whittaker fight for the title? No. Why not, Chael? Because they haven't said it. You won't find a title fight out there. You will not find a contender out there for a title who is given it after the fact by surprise. They all call for it. They must start a dialogue. They must start a narrative. You have not seen, I'm challenging you right now. I'm making a very big statement. This sport goes back to 1993. That's a long time. That's a massive data pool. You will not be able to provide a number one contender for him. Went on to win a championship, went on to lose for the championship, got himself into that fight based on a performance or something else that he had done, something he did yesterday, something he did earlier today, that came as a surprise, that wasn't the narrative that was spoken of ahead of time. And maybe it's even laughed at, maybe it's even dismissed, but it existed and it was said. And I don't think Paulo Costa would be out of bounds in the least to call for a title fight. I mean, getting over on Robert Whittaker, do you know how hard that is to do? There's a few guys in this sport that really don't quite get understood for how good they are. Leon Edwards is a fine example. Leon Edwards has been world champion for a minute here, but we found out on the 16th of December how good he was. We didn't know he was that good. We knew he could win 5 rounds against Chaos. We didn't know he could take Chaos down. I mean, I'm just offering you for an example. Whittaker is that good. He's one of the guys, for sure, locked going into the Hall of Fame. But no one else has ever whipped him and not gotten a title shot. No one else has ever whipped Robert Whittaker and not gotten the damn title, for that matter. So, why wouldn't it go to Paulo Costa? And there's something about Paulo and his schedule. There's something about him missing. Darren Till named him something. It was the king of the pullout. And Darren admitted, he goes, I was the king of the pullout, but he's now beating me. And I only say, like, there's something about that that has made Paulo kind of humble. That's made him not call for it, or possibly he recognizes that Chimaev already fought for a number 1 contenders match, and until he gets the opportunity, right? I mean, it's one of those situations where Paulo Costa, in a normal circumstance, would have spoken up and would have declared this, but he hasn't, and Whittaker hasn't, and therefore Dana White hasn't declared this a number 1 contenders match. And it's an interesting concept. It's nothing more than that. It's just an interesting concept in understanding how you get something or how you get somewhere. There's an order of events. I don't make the rules. Like, if you don't like what I just said, I don't make the rules. I'm just identifying it for you. I stand back, I look at the board, I look for the commonalities. And it's a very important detail to understand in the world of marketing. Marketing 101. Right? If you go to marketing class for one day, you will at some point here, if you pick up a marketing book, any one of them at random off the shelf, at some point within that book, you will be told as a brand to come out and identify yourself before your opponents, your enemies, your competitors do it for you. And so many times people will be in the right match, but they won't get credit for it. They won't get it recognized. Or they'll just assume this match is so hard, this is the one everybody's going to look at. This is the hardest and most competitive middleweight match currently signed. And therefore, it's the number 1 contenders match. That makes sense. I don't disagree with that. That generally is how it works. But when that happens and you see it, you came out and you say it. I'm going to beat him and then I'm going to fight for the belt. But there's something about it where neither guy has done that. And perhaps it's just a missed opportunity. Perhaps. But perhaps they know something we don't. Like, the word does get around very fast within divisions. Perhaps that division and those middleweights already know who's next. Perhaps Chimaev is getting that opportunity that he earned back in October by beating Kamaru Usman. Perhaps Adesanya is coming back and going to be a number 1 contender for the very belt that he dropped. Perhaps Sean Strickland is going to get returned the same opportunity that he extended to Du Plessis. There appears to be a reason why a feature match and the hardest and toughest and most competitive in every metric you could think of, including the rankings, right? I don't love the rankings, but you guys do, and we can include them. Everything says keep your eye on Paulo Costa and Robert Whittaker, except for Costa and Whittaker. Missed opportunity, got busy, overlooked it, possibly. Or do they know something? Do they know it's a waste of time? Because one thing you don't ever want to do, right? I love the idea and the concept of calling your shots, calling for matches. One thing you got to be real careful. Don't call for something you can't get. And that's where it gets tough. That's where the juxtaposition comes. You don't want to miss that moment on the mic. At the same time, you don't want to look weak within the industry. So do they know something? Has something already been definitively planned for middleweight?